Hello and welcome to the Space Between Ideas. I'm Blaine Gates. It is getting late over here, but that's okay. Now we're just getting ready. I thought I was going to start the first story of the 100 business coaching stories challenge. We're almost there. Let me explain. So as you remember, if you've watched previous videos, we have a this week, next week. This is similar to a Kanban chart, except it's just a little more simple. It's more of like a strategic Kanban chart. Instead of putting things into the beginning and then popping, activities out the end once they're completed, this is more like thinking in terms of like, what's our long-term goal? What's our medium-term goal, and what's our short-term goal? So, for example, what are we doing this week? These are things I really need to do right now. All right, so for example, going through the state impact checklist. I'm almost through all of those case studies. And then here it is. Go through all 120 previous client files and sort problems, endeavors into categories. What kind of problems are people trying to solve? Why are people looking for a coach? And then begin sharing examples during teaching process. And I kind of put that on hold because I just couldn't get myself to do it. The same thing actually happened with, this concept of 4D business coaching. So remember at the beginning, a couple of weeks ago, I was trying to create some kind of framework so that people who became new coaches would be able to quickly choose a checklist to get started with and also kind of understand the methodology here. And that's where the birth of 4D business coaching eventually came from, where we have these 4 dimensions. We have a strategic dimension, a catalyzing dimension, a decision dimension, and a results dimension. All right, so as it was with that situation where I kind of gave up and then, it just came to my mind. It was like, oh, okay, I know how to do this. Sometimes you have to relax in order to really understand how to get things done. All right, so I'm still working on this. This is what I'm doing right now. So go through all the client files, create a table of endeavors and customer needs. So the whole idea is like, how do I create a table? Now here's those 4Ds again. So at the bottom we have our vision. Once we understand the vision, we look at our capabilities, we create some plans and then execute on those plans. All right, so my first case study is a guy named Abhi. And the whole purpose of this process, so here I'm talking about create a table with endeavors and customer needs. I did do that, as you can see in previous videos. I'm not really sure what the table is going to look like exactly, but the purpose of creating the table is actually to create a training series for a company by September. And the 2 checklists that I'm focusing on are the assumptions and the impact. So if we go into 4D coaching, what we're talking about is impact here, assumptions here. We're talking about planning, all right, the decision dimension. And I need some case studies because actually in the decision dimension, you're not actually coming up with ideas here. The ideas, they could come from a results. Maybe you have some issues with your results, and so you have to make some plans to get better results. It could be something with catalyzing, so you're trying to make some plans regarding teamwork or inventiveness. But in general, these ones, they don't really need like extra planning. This is just mostly brainstorming and structuring. But of course, you will also have to, if you're talking from a vision perspective, that can also create a situation where you're going to be making some plans. So I start with this first guy. Now, the thing is that you can see the way that I used to teach is very different. The way I used to teach Create Crucial Insight is very different from what I do now. I used to talk about working with partners, developing projects, and managing people. And I used to have this thing called a fortune teller manager. So the thing is, I kind of need to restructure the data. Here's it this week, next week. So I kind of feel like I need to take the concepts from before, and I almost feel like I need to put it into the CEO level of the state progress checklist. So, which is right here.